Well, welcome back to Mill, everybody. It's the week before Christmas. Did a little shopping this morning. I've got one piece that I really need to get out before Christmas. Sorry if there's some wind noise. Um, I got a request for a 15-foot long plank to go in a very specific spot. They didn't really want pine, they wanted hardwood, but it's got to be 14 inches wide, inch and 5/16 thick, and square. And it's got to go as a contractor who's putting it on top of some stuff in a certain specific spot, and it's got to be this wide. So what I have is I have a really funky Tupelo log over here, not tulip poplar, a Tupelo, Tupelo. And back in the day, it was used for like carving decoys and things like that. It's a really unique log. It kind of fits the dimension, so I think I can get the piece out of this. And I was going to cut it tomorrow, but the weather turned okay, and he wants me to deliver it. So I think if I can get it knocked out this afternoon, it kind of frees up the rest of my week going into Christmas to do some more shopping. And I've got some big news coming for you guys. I'm going hydraulic on my mill. I've got a package coming from Norwood, Turner log clamps, log loader, another 4-foot extension, some more Stella Cut bands, which is going to be good. And I'm really excited. So when I kind of found out the details, I was pretty excited. So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go out this afternoon. I'm going to cut this log. So what I did was I threw on a resharp Stella Cut band that has not been used yet because I want this plank to come out smooth and flat. And I've got to cut it down. So I brought out the 272 just to run it a little bit. So I'm going to cut it down with my old 272. I'm going to cut it just over 15 feet long. I'll show you the log. It's got a couple of challenges to it, but let me pause you guys. I'm going to fire up the 272, get it warming up a little bit. It's been cold, but it's like 50 this afternoon, so it's not that bad today. It's just muddy. I'm going to fire up the 272, bring you back when I cut it off, and then we'll take a look at this log and the cool grain and some cool stuff that's going on in it. I think it's going to be a really neat piece, and this is going to be tight on that 14-inch wide plank. I thought I had plenty of room in it, but now remeasuring it, it's going to have to be oriented just the right way, and we're going to see if we can do it. It's just one plank out of it. I think that I'm going to try to save the rest of the log. I might try to blow it into a 14-inch cant. I just don't think it's going to work. I think it's going to make more sense to try to come down and slab a spot where I'm going to get 14, and then take that slab off and edge it afterwards to 14, and then just take the rest of this log and maybe save it, because I can always put it up for some carvers and stuff like that. It's fairly sought after wood. There's not much of it around. I've never cut one, and we're going to take a look at it. So I'm going to pause you guys, fire up the 272, bring you back when it's running, and we'll cut it, measure it, cut it off, and then I'll pause you. We'll throw it up on the mill. We'll mill this thing, and we'll see what it looks like. I think it's going to be really neat wood. So, and I'm really excited about getting this stuff for the mill. So I'm going to pause you guys. All right, so let's get this thing cut off. I'll try to give you a good view here. The old 272 running. I don't think it's laser sharp, but it's plenty sharp enough. Then we'll measure down, and we will cut it off down the other end. It is super, super hard. I did not expect that. Super hard, like rock. I'll give you a good look in a minute. I'll show you the chips I was pulling too. That was a hard cut. Trying to cut it off at about 15.6. Get you guys down here with me. There's a weird crotch, and then we'll take a look at it's really cool end grain. Almost looks like ash. Really similar to ash, but way harder, way more dense. So we're gonna cut it off down here. It's got a weird crotch thing going on, and see how the 272 eats through this. I wish it was a little sharper. Still pulling good chips though. Oh no! Oops. Ah, that's not good. The old saw definitely is going to need some adjusting. He's not liking it. This is not good down here. This log might not work. It's got a hollow spot in the middle. There's a possibility I could get the plank out of here above that. We're going to have to see how this works out. It's a pretty good hollow too. Yeah, it goes in pretty far. Shit. So this is going to be a challenge, I think. Let me grab my ruler here. I'll just take a tape. So the question is whether we can pull that 14-inch plank. Yeah, we could get one above it. If I have clean enough wood up here, I can get one above it. And I have enough room to get one below it, but it's got this little weird hole that goes in here that might cause a problem. So then it's going to kind of be this way. I got plenty of good wood down here. It's plenty big enough. So we're going to have to kind of get this, I think, this crotch kind of perpendicular to where it is now, actually parallel to the mill. And I've got plenty of wood here to get it. I've got 14 here. So I've got a whole chunk right here that I can get it out of. And I also have the option of getting it below this too. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get this up on the mill, get this fissure parallel, to the mill, parallel to the bunks. And then we're going to want to do some mapping out on this and measure up from the bunks to see where that is and kind of get it leveled down there. Take the top off this, and what we'll do is we'll slab down to it and try and get a slab out of it that we can edge off into 14 inches and then hope. I don't see anything in the log that's crazy bad from here down that in that one section that would cause us to not be able to get it. And if we can't get it, we're going to have to try from the other side, because I think this goes in too far. It would be in the plank. Yeah. And just because I'm hitting right there at 10 inches in doesn't mean that's the end of it. Yeah, I'm at 15.4 now. So that fissure definitely goes past where I need it to be. So this is going to be a little bit of a challenge here. Kind of always seems like that with me, doesn't it? We're always close on what we got to do. I think I'll pause you guys again, and I'm going to get this thing up on the mill. There's no other option. If you look at that fissure, then it goes over to, there was a crotch, there's a double section in the tree, so it goes that way. So we got good wood from here down. We're just going to have to map this out, I think, perfect. And there's a chance that we can't get it out of this log. And that's going to be actually in that wide dimension right there, and we look pretty good there. So I think I'm going to remain optimistic. I think we're okay. But we're going to have to be real careful of how we level this log and how we get it positioned on the mill and make sure that we don't, we use it the best way that we can. And I think the safest thing, like I said, is going to be to get down to where the widest section is, take off at least 2 planks above that fissure, and hopefully the top plank yields the 14 wide, and if it doesn't, the next plank down should. So you guys are going to have to cross your fingers here. I am going to set you up over here. I'm going to pause you guys. I'm going to throw it up on the mill, and we'll take it from here, see how this is going to go. It's going to be challenging. All right, so we got her up here. I got her in the right orientation. I'll show you what I did on the end of the log here. And it looks like I got 3 cracks at this, maybe 4. So actually, I'll show you from this view here. And then let me just step in there. If I can get this up on my boards. Oh, hold on. Stupid tripod. Now I'll show you what I did here. So what I did was I made a horizontal line that was just above this rot spot, a little bit clear of it. I measured the center, and I dropped the plumb line down the center of the log. Then I came out 7 inches on each side, and I dropped the plumb line down on both sides. So that gives me 14 inches wide, so I can see where my possible is coming from. It looks like I could get one here at, it's got to be 1 5/16 inches, and another one here. I have enough room to take 2 planks out of here. I have a little more room down here, but the same thing. So I have a possibility here, 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 definitely here, and I think that's it. I think those are I think that's the only possibilities. I think this fissure would go through anything on this side and this side. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to come down and take it off right here, see what that cut looks like. Hopefully it's more than 14 all the way down. We may go ahead and flip it straight over since I have a little more room here, and then take it down here and see if we can steal that plank out of here. But I might cut a couple of them. Just, we're going to have to see how it goes. It's going to be really tight. I think we can do it. As I look down the side of the log here, it looks like There's nothing in the way there. There is a little indent right there that might cause a problem with that top plank. It will cause a problem with that top plank. I take it back. I won't be able to get the 14 on that top square just because of that little ding in right there. There's also a little ding in a little way down there. Yeah, it's the same thing on the bottom. There's a ding in there. This might not be able to be done. There's a possibility I can't get this because of that little crotch ding in right there. And look on this side. Looks like I got a better chance at the one that's right below that fissure. That next one up might be the best chance. And the other one that could be a chance is going to be the one that's just over the top of that fissure. Because it might miss that little, I don't know if you guys can see what I'm talking about, but the log, it's a bad view. It doesn't show good from the camera, but the log digs in right here a little bit. I think that wipes out this one. I think that takes the corner of this in here somewhere, so that's not going to work. And then on the other side, and those are my only chances at a 14-inch plank, guys. And then on the other side, you got this little ding in right here. That is going to wipe out at least this one, I think. Probably, maybe I can get this one out of it above that. So it ends kind of right here. That would come over somewhere in here. So I could maybe get a plank here, and I maybe can get a plank here. So it's kind of what it is. So I think we actually may put this into a cant. The only problem with putting it in a cant is if I take these sides off, at 14, I lose the ability to shift that. So in other words, on this lower chunk right here. So if I take the board out of here, I could go over a little bit. If the log will yield it, I could use this right here. But if I cant this off and don't slab it, I lose the ability to do that. So I think what makes the most sense is to take slabs out of it and then try to edge them later. So take the slabs out of the top down to that line. There's going to be like 2 1 5/16 slabs there. Take those off, flip it over, do the same thing on the other side, and then go slab, 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 maybe 3 slabs there, and then see if one of those slabs is going to yield me a 14-inch wide board. I think that's the only way to do it. And I'm getting enough money per board foot to do that on this log. I know that sounds like, oh shit, you're wasting a whole log, but I'm getting like $5 a board foot on this, so that's gonna save me on this log. While I'm right here, I'm gonna fire up the mill, just let it warm up while I put you guys back where you were, and we'll start down this thing, and we're gonna see how this goes. This is gonna be, I just hope that all this is not for nothing, and I don't, this time of the year, guys, I've got logs sitting around, and I'm going into my slow time, or I'm in my slow time, and these logs are going to be sitting here. So it's better to use it and kick off again in the spring. Hopefully I have enough fuel in this thing. I don't have to fuel it up. I did put a bunch in it last time. But if it runs out, then I'll pause you guys and we'll fuel it up. But let's start taking the slabs off here. I think the wood's going to be cool. I'll give you a look at the wood. There's a lot of little bumps and knots in this thing, and kind of weird, especially down this end, weird figure. I think it's going to be pretty cool looking wood. So I know this is kind of like a long way to get to where we are right now, but we're going to start taking this thing apart right now, and we're going to see how this thing goes. I do have Danny out here with me. Mom just brought him out, and she's on her way to work. So I think I'm just going to go ahead. I know I can't get anything above that. Make that top cut right up there at that blue line. Right in there somewhere. I think that's where we're going to make our top cut. I look clear up high. I'm not clear on my this. Might not be clear there either. Hopefully I got water. I'm not frozen. We're running water pretty much as just coolant in something this hard. Hopefully I clear that knot on the side there. Yeah, it looks good. All right, let's take a top off this thing. Let's see how it goes. I am going to close my mouth down a little bit to give myself a better chance of getting a flatter cut here. Fan seems to be handling it well. And I am going to have to drag these slabs off backwards because I'm too far down the mill to just kick them off the side. So I kind of got to grab them with the picaroon. Oop, that's not in enough. That'll stab me right in the face. You can tell it cut nice and flat because this big heavy slab is sliding so nice and smooth. Let's get this big heavy chunk off the mill. See what we got going on. Wow. Pretty. It almost looks like maple. It almost looks like a maple. It's got a lot of I'm going to show you guys the slab. It's got like a lot of weird ambrosia color in it, like nothing I've ever seen. And you know, like Robert Milton talks about, if you want to talk about sawdust on the slab, this is clear and great. There's almost no, I'll show you guys this before I scrape it off, but there's almost no sawdust on the slab. So it was cutting really efficiently, really well. I mean, you can see there's just almost no sawdust on it all the way down. You can see all this, I'm going to scrape it for you, but all this weird ambrosia figure in it, it's pretty cool. So we'll scrape it and then we're going to measure it. I want to see how far off we are. Let me just grab my scraper. This is a really cool log. It's wicked hard. When I saw that it was used for carving duck decoys, I thought it was going to be soft. This is not soft. It is really, really hard wood. It's one of the hardest woods maybe that I've milled. Cut wicked smooth. Wow, it's gorgeous wood. Oh my goodness. These, I mean, it's beautiful. Hopefully it shows up good in the light, but it's got this kind of like weird chocolate color out here in the sapwood. It's bone white in the middle. It's got all these little ambrosia marks on it. Old knots in the middle of the tree. Very old knots. Gorgeous through here. That band cut really, really good. So if you see where I am now, right at the top of my 14-inch mark, and I doubt that I can almost tell that I don't have 14 right ahead of it. We'll We're going to take a slab off this, and then we'll drop down, and we'll take another one until we get to that kind of rot spot. Hopefully that rot spot doesn't extend up at all, and I can get 2 pieces out of this, and hopefully one of them is going to be max minimum 14 wide. But let's take a couple of measurements, see how we are right now. This is going to tell us a lot. Oh, Jesus. Right. It's going to be a challenging log. It is just going to be what it's going to be. So right now I am just about 14 right here. And I'm not 14 here. I'm 13. I'm 12 here. Almost 12 here. 11 and a half. 12 here. So the next slabs, this slab that we take off right now is not going to be wide enough. Hopefully the one underneath it is. We're going to gain a bunch of room. And just seeing here, so we're way clear here. We're 14 here. We're 14 here. We narrowed down to 12 here. This little indent's going to be, or one of these indents here is going to be the problem. So I'm 12 here. Do I think it's going to get to 14? I think so. I think it will. So the second slab off this might be wide enough, but then we are definitely going to have to flip it over and mill some slabs off the bottom, and hopefully we end up with something that's going to work. These will be beautiful. I will definitely sell what is left over here. I don't know where I'm going to be able to get them off at. I think I'm going to want to put them up on the sawhorses, so I got to keep them away from you. So I'm going to put you back here. You'll be able to see me. So let's take a slab off it that is definitely not going to be big enough, and then we'll take another one off it. And like I said, these got to be 1 5/16. This slab almost doesn't matter because it's not going to be wide enough. I got to measure down. No, see, if I do that, I'm screwing myself one way or another. If I don't take enough off the top, I screw the next slab. If I take too much off the top, maybe I'll run into the rot. So I think my lines are the safest bet. And 1 5/16. There's actually going to be almost 3 of them out of here. There's going to be like 3 pieces out of here. So I'm going to get, I think I'm going to get 3 slabs out of this side. Let me throw this tape measure in my hip so I don't have to keep walking back and forth for it. A little bit of mud on the log right here. I don't want to roach this band right away. That Stella cut band cut really nice in this. And this is a resharp, guys. It's one of the ones that I sharpened with my system. Okay, it's stable enough to stay there. So we are going to cut it, take one off, cut it, take it off, cut the third one. I think 1 5/16 is 2 3/4 plus 2 cuts at 1/8. The 7/8 is 3 inches. I have a little over 3 inches. So we're going to get 3 slabs out of this. I just have to do my drops right. So let's see where I was. Oop. Okay, right there. So that is 16 3/4. So we're going to go to 15 3/4. And then 5/16 is just over 1/4. So we're going to go to 15 1/2 minus the 16th. And then we have to take out 1/8. So that is 15 5/16. We're going to go ahead and we'll make a mark on here, and I'll measure it and make sure that's right. Let's throw a measurement on that quick. After the blade stops. That's perfect. It's exactly inch and 5/16. Inch and 5/16. So that's perfect. So that's good. We know the math works out. I'm going to drop. I'm going to do. Actually, no. I'm just going to cut it right here. So I know I'm at 15 right now. I'm at 15 and 5/16. So the next drop is going to be to 14 minus an eighth. So the next drop will be 13 and 7/8. It should be. That's 5/16. Inch and 5/16 is 14 minus 1/8 is 13 and 7/8 is going to be my next cut. Widen out my mouth. Wow, this stuff hard, man. This stuff is like a rock. I know my next one's going to be a 13 and 7/8. So let's go back there. You just probably cut it right now. Let's just go ahead and drop down and make the cut. 13, 13 and 7/8. Just measure that one too. It looks thick. I don't know if I did make a mistake there or what. It looks thick. It's just a shade over inch and 5/16. And then I do have one more here. Let's go ahead and try it. All right, so we're at 13 and 7/8 right now. We're going to go back. Make one more cut, then we'll flip it over. I'm going to drop to 13 7/8 right now, and I'm going to leave it here for a minute. We're going to take these slabs off because I don't want to mess up. If I've got my 14 on my second one down, it's going to be tight edging it, guys. You're going to have to get it set up perfect to edge it. If I have my, you see how easy these slide? That's how flat they're cutting. See how, I mean, this is a big, heavy piece, and it just slides like nothing. If I have 14 on this one, I'm done. So it wouldn't make any sense to take another piece. Not knock over the. Let me do some measurements here. I've got 16. Still good. Barely good, but good. It's gonna still way good here. Starting to narrow down a little bit. Let me scrape this off, and I'll show you the slab too. So far, so good. So far, I'm clear. But you're gonna have to be careful because when you edge it, you're gonna have to edge it just right. Or I'm gonna have to snap lines on it and cut it. So I'm clear still. Still got 14. It's tight, but I got 14. Plenty. Way more here. This is the tight spot right here. And I just barely have 14 there. The problem is that when you edge this, because of the way it goes like this, I can't come down to there and run it straight out. I'd lose a bunch down. If there's any other spots that I'm tight, I'm not going to make it. So I think I need to take one more. And this one's going to get into, it's going to get close to that rot spot. It's going to be really, really tight. I think I'll get them a usable board, but it's going to be tight. Let me show you this slab. Let me pull it off. I'll show you the next one. So it kind of stinks that if I had held up a quarter, if I had taken that top slab at 1 inch instead, I would have plenty of room right now. I think I may have made a mistake there. Wow, this is awesome. Holy crap, this is beautiful. Now I know this one's big enough. The question is, can I get the thickness without running into the rot spot? Oh my God, it's beautiful. This is just gorgeous wood here. You see the sheen on it from cutting it, how good it came out. So you can see the cool ambrosia in it. Kind of like tulip poplar a little bit. But this is totally different wood than poplar. Holy crap. I mean, this is like, it's like a mixture between maple and like apple. Something like, it's like apple density. It's really hard. The beautiful color in it. Now this slab, I'll have no problem getting 14. No problem. This one, because right here, I'm like 14 wide right here. If you look, See, I'm not even 14 wide right there on my narrowest spot. This one I got no problem. I'm plenty big enough. And I'm plenty big enough to edge it. You know, this is 16 wide inside the wood. So let's try and take one more off. Hopefully this is the money slab and it doesn't get into that rot. And if it does have any of that rot, it's going to be in a spot that's okay to have it. It's only going to be in the bottom. If they have to set it on top of something, then it'll be okay. I might have to cut them 2 possibilities though, just in case. So I don't see any problems right now. I think we can do this. So I have 1.5 inches to the, and I have 1.25 inches to the actual rot, and it feels like it tapers down. I think we're all right. So we're going to cut it. So I have to go 13 7/8. I got to go to 12 7/8 minus 1/4. So 12 5/8 minus a 16th is 12 11, 9/16, and then I have to take an 1/8 out of it. So 12 7/16 right there should be the cut. And we'll go ahead and we'll mark it, and then we'll see if it's right. Let's measure the thickness on that. It's 1 5/16. Double check again. Yep, 1 5/16. So hopefully this is the money cut. I think I can be a lot more accurate edging it than I can throwing it into a cant right now, blowing these sides off it. And the only good part if I did that would be, might give me a flat spot. No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I'd rather have the whole piece. The whole piece would give me a lot more options. Stuff is definitely hard. Kind of like I was saying, kind of like a fruit food. Gonna close the mouth down a little bit right here. All right, let's check this slab out. I know I have the width. The question is going to be, do I have any rot in the bottom of it? And then what I'm going to have to do, oh, beautiful. Oh my God, these are gorgeous. Holy shoot. So the rest of this log, I am going to want to save. I can't wait to show this to you. So there's no rot in the bottom of it. It's nice and solid. It's perfect. So I'm going to take this off. And then what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to chalk a line down the side of it to use as a reference line. I'm going to have to get that line measured off to give me plenty of clearance so that when I come to the other side, I don't run into some stupid little ding in that messes the board up. So I'll get that line the right height from the bunks by shimming the slab and adjusting it. And then I'll cut it off with right on the outside of it with a little bit of clearance. I'll shave it right down to where there's no wane on it. And then we'll flip it over. I'll shave off the wane on the other side. We'll see what I'm left over with. And then maybe I can trim it back or forth or something like that. But wait till you see what's underneath this. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. It came out awesome. Oh, the color underneath this, it looks a lot like, it's like tulip poplar, but apple hardness. It's really strange. Wait till I scrape this off. The color's awesome. So you guys may not get to see me edge this one off. Just, I know that I got plenty of plank here to do it, which is great. I was worried about that rot spot. And it, oh my, whoa, wow, it's just beautiful. It is absolutely stunning. Absolutely crazy. I'm going to cut that rot spot out of the end of this and keep the rest of that this log to slab. Look at these slabs. Look at the color. Oh my goodness, they're absolutely phenomenal. Look at the grain. That's going to be the top of that piece. It's absolutely stunning. Could not possibly have given him a better piece. And then I'm out at 15.4, so that's the only hole in the bottom is right there. And you can just barely feel it. Right at the end, that's going to get cut off anyway. And they got to put this down on top of stuff, so that would get hidden anyway. But wow. It's just, I can't tell you, there's so much going on in this. It's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. And the colors in these things are crazy. Gorgeous piece. So we're at 48 minutes. So I think that's going to do it for me. I think what's smart for me right now is to take this whole log off, go to work on this slab. Let's do some measurements real quick. Just keep you on for one more minute here. I'm going to do some measurements quick just to put my mind at ease. I'm going to put you back into the sun like this. So I'm almost 18 wide right here. I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not. 18 wide here. I'm going to look for some narrower spots like right here. It's 17, maybe just less than 17, 16 and 3/4. 16, 16, 16 here, 16 here. It's way wider here, but this is where it's going to get narrow. 17, just almost 16, 15 and 3/4 is my narrowest spot, is 15 and 3/4. That is my narrowest spot. So what I have to do when I chalk a line is I have to use that spot and then take it down the edge Um, and I could even, to save myself a setup, I could even come out here with a circular saw. I could even come out here. You see me. Let me get you out of the sun. I could come out here with a circular saw or even my track saw. Put my two tracks together, chalk my line, then use my track saw to cut this one side. That's going to be, like I said, my smallest spot's 15 3/4. Make that cut, then put it on the mill to edge it off, and edge it wider, and then sneak up on the 14, whether I have to flip back and forth to take a look at, what I got left over, sneak up on my 14, or I could always cut it with an edge guide too. I don't know that I can get out 14 on an edge guide. I know I can do 12. I don't know that I can get 14 on my edge guide. I could do tracks on both sides, but I don't know. But either way, one of two ways, I'm going to get this slab cut down to 14 inches wide. And this is the small side up top that I was measuring. It gets bigger towards on the bottom. So I think we're good. I just don't think I want to try to set it up on the mill to make this top cut. I don't want to end up getting it a little wrong. Although you could chalk a line and measure to your bunks and make sure that you shim it right. Shim that chalk line level, and then you could cut it. Trim it down just so you get a clean edge, and then flip it over, cut it as big as you can get it, then look at it, see if you have to take something off, and then take off whatever you have to take off. Which actually might not be a bad idea. I think I might do that. Maybe I'll have to shoot a video on that. I'll take this off, and I'll bring you back when I edge it so we can see it. Let's do that. That'll be kind of cool, almost Christmas video. So I'm going to pull that thing off. I'm going to go put it back up in the pile, up on a pile that's up off the ground. Save that for later because I can slab that log out and maybe even give it to Thatcher Smith. He'd probably love these slabs. I could sell these easy for $100 a piece, to Thatcher or something like that. If I sold them to him for $1 a board foot, he'd take them. They're going to kind of be like nothing else. If I can cut that rot spot completely off and then slab the rest of this log at like 10 feet or even 12 feet long or something like that and get that kind of color, oh, that's a home run, boys and girls. Absolute home run. So I'll be back in a few. For now, for Danny, who's over there hunting squirrels, and myself, Pirate Solutions, and holidays and Christmas, and Christmas is coming for the sawmill too. Pirate Solutions out.